What's going on, horror fans? Welcome back to my channel. Man, I missed you all so much. If I could just reach through this screen and just give you a big fat kiss, I would. But then you'd all press charges, and I don't have that kind of money. So anyway, can we just talk about Child's Play for a minute? You guys asked for it. I watched all the movies. I binged season 1 and season 2 of Chucky, so I'm ready to rank it. Let's get to it. Starting off this list at number 10 is a movie that I didn't hate the first time I watched it. I still don't hate it now. It's the Child's Play remake. Really, the only reason that this is at the bottom of my list is because I feel kind of icky about the way it was made. They did not get Don Mancini's approval, and everybody knows that he is the brainchild. He is the man behind the franchise, and because of some weird rules, he doesn't have the rights to remake Child's Play, but he has the right to make all the sequels, which is why we've gotten one long continuous line of movies from him. But it just doesn't need to exist. You take away one of the core elements of the character, and that's that it's a serial killer that's possessed the doll. It's not a rogue AI. I'm not here watching Will Smith battle Sonny again. This is not that kind of movie. It's supposed to be a serial killer with personality, with a little bit of dickishness in him, not just a robot that wants to save a boy by killing everybody that threatens him. It's not engaging, at least not as a Child's Play movie. Mark Hamill, he's a fantastic actor and voice actor. I mean, he's the Joker for a reason.
Should I care?
So it's not his fault. I actually think that his rendition of the voice is pretty damn creepy. It's different. It's not Brad Dourif, so it's not Chucky, but it's effective. But the movie just doesn't need to exist. They didn't need to make it. They made it solely to make money, probably to keep the rights in their hands. I don't know. I didn't look into all that. But I just don't agree that the movie needed to be made, and that's why it's at the bottom of my list. Number 10, the Child's Play remake. If you liked it, great. It's actually, again, I don't think it's a terrible movie. I got to side with Don Mancini, and I don't think they should have made the movie to begin with. So, number 10, the remake. Number 9 is going to be Child's Play 3, and it pains me to put it here because this is one of the ones that I've been watching since I was a kid. This is one of my favorites to put on for nostalgia purposes only, because I know that the movie's not that good. It's really boring for a large spell of it, especially there in the middle when we follow the human characters a little bit too much. I mean, they're okay. Andy's fine. The grown-up Andy's fine. De Silva's fine. I actually like the Whitehurst character. Super heroic sacrifice. Awesome. Captain America material. But the new child Tyler, again, child actors, hit and miss. This one just doesn't work for me. It didn't work for me back then. It really doesn't work for me now as an adult. I just don't believe a lot of what he's doing or saying.
Who the fuck are you?
I thought you guys only said 3 sentences.
I'm new and improved.
I never saw a doll like you before.
All right, kid. Fun's over. Where the hell's Andy?
And again, it's a child actor, so you kind of have to try to just go with it. But I wish that there was more going on aside from kind of just building to the climax. But that is one of the big pros of this movie, is it might not be the best finale, but it's certainly the best Chucky kill. The giant industrial fan is the best way that they have dispatched Chucky. One of the best sequences in the entire franchise. I do love the build up to that. But a large chunk of the rest of the movie is forgettable at best, aside from some really funny one-liners.
Don't fuck with the Chuck.
Oh my God.
So it's not enough to save this movie. It's going to be bottom of the barrel Chucky for me. And this is a franchise that I love, so I still really like this movie. I watch this movie all the time. But as far as quality goes, I have to put it where it belongs, and it's right here. It's at number 9. Number 8 is going to be Seed of Chucky. And if you would have asked me before I rewatched all these movies what was going to be my last place, it would have been this one or potentially the remake for the reasons I said. But I didn't remember liking this movie at all. But I went into it with an open mind. I rewatched it just the other day. I actually had a really good time. Now that I know that this is kind of where the franchise goes.
Tiff?
Chucky?
Who the hell are you?
Shitface.
Now, what kind of a name is that?
Towards this silly, crazy, this is the one where Don Mancini just stops being the writer, steps into the director's chair, and as a gay man, asks questions that make people uncomfortable.
Not sure. Sometimes I feel like a boy. Sometimes I feel like a girl. Can I be both?
Well, some people.
No way!
And again, I'm not the guy to answer those questions as a straight white male, but I think it's fascinating to watch. I love exploring these characters, and we just get more into that in the TV series. But this is where he starts to show his creativity and where he wants the franchise to go. With the introduction of Glenn and Glenda, and we start getting really meta with the fact that they're making a movie about the Chucky kills. So now Jennifer Tilly and the Chucky doll are all part of the real world zeitgeist, and all this stuff is happening, and we're crossing over a lot of boundaries, and it's tough to keep track of at times. But if you just sit down and enjoy the ride, there's some funny kills, some funny one-liners. Chucky is full on, superhero at this moment. We're not rooting for him to be defeated anymore. We're rooting for them to succeed. So, and they do. At the end of this movie, I know Chucky dies again, but Tiffany successfully transfers her soul into Jennifer Tilly, and that that goes on for quite a while. So, and this is where it all starts. A lot of the groundwork for where the franchise goes for the foreseeable future starts here, for better or worse. And I had a lot of fun watching it. It's not boring, so you can say that. At parts, it goes a little bit too far for me, so I don't love this movie, but I definitely had a lot more fun than I thought. And I'm comfortable with putting it at the number 8 spot. A lot of fun, sometimes a little bit too much, though. And number 7 on my list is going to be Chucky Season 2. And it's not that I didn't like it. Again, I had a lot of fun. One of the standouts is Devon Sawa as Father Bryce. You don't really know what to make of this guy. He seems like a real big asshole throughout most of the season. You're waiting for him to get off, and he keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. You're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting. And then he flips it on you and has one of the most emotional moments of the entire season, and then one of the best deaths of the entire season. So it's just a phenomenal performance by Devon Sawa. I did not expect it. He got an emotional reaction out of me during his confession, when he confessed to being so at odds with himself because of he being a closeted homosexual who was a priest, and that's why he's so aggressive towards everybody else. You could feel it. It seemed real. Very well done, and I know that kind of tapped into a lot of Don Mancini's own feelings. So beautifully written, beautifully acted. One of the highlights of the season. What didn't work for me, and the reason it's here, is because I feel like they're just stalling at this point. I mean, what really happens in this season? Season 1, we're introduced to the characters. Chucky has a goal, and then in season 2, you think that we're going to go beyond that, but it's really the same goal. He's still trying to kill these kids that kind of fucked him in the first season, and we don't do anything. We just go to a new setting. We introduce to a couple of new characters, some cool kills. I love the Chucky variants. I love the big buff Chuck. He was hilarious. The Colonel, God, what the fuck, man? Like, they built this up to be like this badass, and he goes out like a bitch. So it's just, there was so much potential, and then it's like they're afraid to make the wrong decision. I don't know if that's true, but it feels like they're just afraid to make the wrong decision, so they're not doing anything. We're just kind of treading water here, waiting. I'm waiting for something to happen, and I didn't get any kind of positive resolution at the end of season 2 because we get another, body fake switch out. I mean, at this point, I don't even know if we'll ever know if Chucky's truly dead, because he probably just switched fucking places with the gun before he died. I know that's not how it works. I'm just being facetious. But anyway, he is able to switch bodies so frequently now that you don't really believe anything you see. and they've done the fake Chucky death so many times that nobody believed that that was prime Chucky lying there with his mouth cut off. We all knew that it was the doctor. That didn't fake me out at all. I was like, oh, he switched places with her, and they just go back and they show us. And again, this season could have been so good, and it just missed the bar a little bit. A little bit disappointing. Number 7, Chucky Season 2. Number 6 is going to be Cult of Chucky. Now, this is where stuff gets even crazier, and that's a bold statement for this franchise, but this is where we start to figure out that Chucky can kind of splinter his soul, and he doesn't just have to inhibit one doll. So that opens up a whole new, world of things that they can do, and they do it in this movie. We have several different variants of Chucky, not to the extent of, the TV show where they have physical, they've changed themselves in that way, but these ones have different haircuts and other, missing arms, other ways to tell the difference between them. But they have a bunch of really funny interactions. They have a joint kill that's particularly amazing. A fun little back and forth between the three of them.
Right. Now I'm gonna go kill Andy. No, I want to kill Andy. I earned it. I've been through a lot today. You got to suck pity today. Look what happened to me. Hello? Look at my hair. Oh, shit, you win. Absolutely. Sorry, pal. You go fuck them up real good.
But this is really just an excuse for the Dorff family to show how ridiculously talented both of them are. Fiona Dorff is back as Nika, and obviously Brad Dorff is the voice of Chucky. Both of them, phenomenal work here in this movie. Both of them are firing on all cylinders. Nika gets to do a little bit more than just act in a standard horror movie. She gets to do a couple of different sort of scenes, and then the ending where she gets to play Chucky.
Hiya, Doc. There's definitely perks to being supernaturally possessed.
Beautiful, amazing, I love it. And then her kill of the creepy doctor at the end. I know it's not technically her getting her revenge, but Chucky gets it for her. And it's an amazing moment. I love this movie. I don't have a lot to say about it because, again, this is just another excuse for Don Mancini to kind of explain the universe and then give us some really badass kills along the way. But really, this movie is just a avenue to get prime Chucky into Nika so that we can keep going down the path that we are. And again, we get some really awesome kills in here, some solid acting from all the main players. Again, I'm going to give this the 6th spot because it's pretty average for me. It's not, I don't love it. I don't hate it. Right smack in the middle. Not a bad movie. Number 5 is going to be Chucky Season 1. I was a little skeptical about the show, even though it involved Don Mancini. So I didn't watch it until recently, but I've kept hearing about how decent it was. I wanted to watch it. I wanted to jump in. This was my chance. And I was blown away by Season 1. I thought that Jake, Lexi, Devin Jr., all the kid characters did phenomenal. The actors, I don't want to call them kids, but the younger actors did phenomenal. And again, we have Devin Sawa pulling dual roles as two brothers. Again, he's not quite to the level he is in Season 2 with Father Bryce, but he does a really good job. It's nice to see him back. But really, the younger actors are the ones that stand out. And Brad Dorff is back, fire on all cylinders. He never takes a day off. He never takes a movie off. He never takes a show off. He never takes an episode off. He's always showing up and giving it everything he's got. And I adore Don Mancini's willingness to try new things. So now they're continuing to push the envelope. Chucky is able to summon a army if he can get one of these kids to kill, one of these innocent kids to kill. So that's his quest throughout this movie or the show. And because we have so much time, 8 40-minute episodes, you have more time to dive in, more time to spend with the characters. And since you just met them, that's what you want to do. You want to learn about their lives, what their problem is. And Lexi in particular goes from someone that looked like she was going to be one of the first people killed, maybe even by Jake himself, to one of the final girls, one of the main players, one of the heroes. They reconcile. She learns that she was a shithead. That doesn't typically happen in these types of shows or movies. They usually just get offed, and that's the lesson. Don't be a dick. No, she learns that her actions have consequences, and the way that she speaks to people has consequences. She learns that it's a huge deal to treat people like shit, and it almost costs her her life. But luckily, she learns the proper way to act. Chucky fails. Well, he actually doesn't fail. He fails to get Jake or her to do it, but unfortunately, Junior falls victim to all of the trauma, the death of his mom, the death of so many people around him. He just snaps, kills his father, uh, kind of helps Chucky win, so to speak. If it's not for the actions of Andy and Kyle and a couple of other people, he would have won. But anyway, I like where we go with season one. I like uh, the show, the way that we have this much time to explore the world. So I'm excited for where we're going to go in season three. I haven't watched any of it yet, but I'm excited to jump in. I'll probably do that tonight. But it's going to stay for now. Season one's going to stay here. I've only seen it the one time, though. So maybe with a rewatch, my opinion will change. Maybe even with season two, my opinion will change. But this is my first watch. And again, I'm going to put it right smack in the middle with Cult of Chucky. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was pretty solid Child's Play Chucky material. Number 5, Chucky Season 1. Number 4 is going to be Curse of Chucky. Now, after Seed of Chucky, we needed a course correction. Don Mancini needed to correct back towards the horror genre, and he does that masterfully with Curse of Chucky. We go back to a contained location, a giant house. It looks like we're doing a soft reboot because Chucky doesn't have the stitches on his face anymore, at least at first. So we think we might be having a soft reboot, sort of a retelling of the original story. We meet Fiona Dorff for the first time as Nika. She's amazing in this movie too. More of a standard, final girl role here where people don't believe her. She has to try to fight back against the monster, but she does it beautifully. Brad Dourif, again, I sound like a broken record here, but he's amazing. Fire on all cylinders. This dude knows how to play this role with his eyes closed. So everybody's playing great. What I like is we get back to building suspense. Chucky is creeping around, trying to scare people, toying with people, and not just cutting one-liners or jerking off into a cup. So, that's way in the rearview mirror in this movie. This movie tries to be scary again. And I love the reveal, as some of the prosthetics are peeled away, that this is actually our Chucky. This is prime Chucky that was put back together. He's still around and kicking, same universe. And this is actually, an old family of Charles Lee Ray's. And there's a nice backstory here. If you haven't seen the movie, I won't give it all away, but go back and watch this one. I love it. It could have been higher, but these next couple ones are just iconic, and it's almost impossible to crack the top 3 for me. But this one, easily number 4. I love Curse of Chucky. Fantastic movie. Number 4, easily. But like I said, my top 3's pretty rock solid. Number 3, Bride of Chucky. Again, this was a course correction. Part 3 was so boring that we needed something. We needed a change, and they turned to a fantastic director who completely changed the tone, went horror comedy, and blew it out of the water. This movie made you laugh. It actually had moments that would make you kind of cringe, kind of scare you. The only thing that holds it back from the top 2 spots are the leads. Katherine Heigl and the guy, I don't even remember the gentleman who plays the lead, man. They're so boring. Their relationship is so frustrating because they're so in love.
I feel like such an idiot.
Me too.
I mean, I can't believe I actually thought that you could kill someone.
I know. I'm so sorry.
David, what would we do without you?
David, I didn't do it. She did.
David, I was there!
Shut up!
Oh my God, I love you, murderer! I love you, murderer! It's so silly, but everything else about this movie is phenomenal. We are introduced to Tiffany, Jennifer Tilly, for the first time. God, has there ever been a better introduction to a franchise than Jennifer Tilly in the Child's Play franchise? Because her and Chucky, their chemistry is perfection. And I've seen this movie so many times that when I put it on, I don't even have to watch it anymore. It's just like it's there in my head. but every single scene is phenomenal. From the moment that she kills the cop and steals Chucky to her bringing him back and them suffocating the freaky dude. It ain't the size that counts. It's what you do with it. There's so many great one-liners in this movie. You throw in the late, great John Ritter as the protagonist, dickhead, stepfather, uncle, whatever the hell he is. And like I said, you pair that with Brad Dourif, Jennifer Tilly, and Ronnie Yu's fantastic direction, and this movie was just lightning in a bottle. It completely changed the trajectory of the franchise. We would not be standing here today talking about Chucky if not for Bride of Chucky.
No!
So I love this movie. Number 3, easily one of the best. It could be number 1, could be number 2. For me, it's number 3. I'm not going to argue with anybody that puts it higher, but I love the other 2 just a little bit more. Number 2 is going to be the original Child's Play. Now, it was released in 1988 and directed by Tom Holland. No, not that Tom Holland, a different Tom Holland, but still written and created by Don Mancini. He was there from the beginning, and this movie is built on his idea. What would happen if a serial killer possessed a doll? That is the basis of this movie, this franchise, and then it's also built on the back of Brad Dourif's fantastic vocal performance as Chucky. And we're not standing here today talking about this movie also if we don't cast Brad Dourif as Chucky. He is as synonymous with this franchise as Don Mancini, if not even more so, because that's who people know. People know Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky. They might not know who wrote and created, but he is that person to most people, and it starts here. From the very beginning, we knew that we had something special. They didn't quite know yet. We didn't get enough of Chucky in the movie acting, alive. But we get a lot more fear, we get a lot more suspense, we get a lot more tension because of that. Again, I think Jaws. We don't show the bad guy very much because we don't have a lot of technology to make it look good. So they don't do it very often, and it works. There's a lot of POV stuff. There's a lot of, quick in the back shots. But the movie is effective, it's creepy, and it scares the shit out of me even to this day. There are moments that still get me to jump. I love it, and it's number 2 on my list. The only reason it's not number 1 is because the sequel did it better. Think Terminator 2. We don't have to introduce the characters. We don't have to introduce the world. We just jump right in. We already have Andy Barclay. We already feel terrible for him and everything that he's been through. Brad Dourif is already Chucky. He already knows how to play this character, and they already know that they have something special. So we get plenty of Chucky. He gets some of his best one-liners in this movie, some of his best kills in this movie. And it has the best finale of any of the Child's Play movies. The toy factory that you see behind me is as iconic as any set piece in this franchise. I love the last bit of this movie. I love the showdown with him and Kyle at the toy factory. And that was so popular that they brought both of them back for the latter movies in the TV show, Andy and Kyle. And it's because of this movie. It's because everybody loves Child's Play 2. It's the perfect sequel. It takes everything about the original and makes it better. And that's why it's the number 1 Child's Play movie. Let me know if you disagree. I know somebody does. Nobody is going to agree with my top 10 in its entirety. So let me know where you disagree. But this is a franchise that's very close to my heart. So please don't tell me my opinion's stupid. I'm not going to tell you that your opinion's stupid, okay? We all have opinions, and they're just like assholes. All fucking stink, okay? But we're here to talk. We're here to listen. I love you guys. Thank you all very much for watching. It's been too long, and I promise it won't be very long before my next one. I'm ready to pump out a couple more scary vids before Halloween. So we got, 11 days, 12 days until Halloween. So happy Halloween, y'all. Stay spooky and stay tuned. I'll be back.